friendly atmosphere. Education programs and recognition system discussed. With that new member, you go through the recognition system, introduce them. So if that's the case, you don't want to put a check mark there, put a big circle around that area. Learning needs assessed. Are you in tune with what that member is desiring to achieve with that club? I know we have a new education system being introduced over the next couple of years. Perhaps that's the time to tell them about how there's going to be a greater focus on that new member towards education. I know some people think, okay, parliamentary procedure is just about parliamentary procedure, but perhaps we need to instill on them that it's not just that, it's all about growing. If you feel like you want to have fun, if you like to see a little more of a formal meeting ahead of time, this is the club to be. I know when I was out in Canada, we always had a 15 to 20 or even a half-hour meeting session ahead of time in our meetings. And it was a lot of fun. We pushed Robert's Rules of Orders. So remind them that it's not just about parliamentary procedure. Speaking roles assigned, are they done regularly ahead of time? I know Tom is talking about, he's got his website set up, and we're working towards that so we can get those roles in ahead of time. I know that takes some push. Our club tried that, and it was just hard to get to it. But you gotta work with it. You gotta have a link on your website. When you, for instance, Mike, if you send something out to the club and address, you have to have a link in there to get directly to the website. Perhaps might help to have a common password. Everybody uses the same password in the club. That helps. Something simple. Member involved in club activities. Do you guys have club activities outside of here? I know you meet just once a month, but to me, I think what I find in some clubs, that's not enough. For instance, Corey sent me an email, or sent us an email, that she can't make it. So that's 2 months. Last month I couldn't make it. And I'm the coach for this club, and I just felt bad for not being able to make it. But that's maybe something to be discussed, perhaps an alternate night. Go ahead.
Maybe that
Sure.
is an option, that the club meet more than once a month.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. I know what I've seen with clubs that meet twice, okay, they meet every 2 weeks. So you miss a meeting, you've missed out 2 meetings. We've had a new member sign up at Soundbites, and it was November when I saw her. I've been going to every Soundbites meeting. I haven't seen her since. And it's just so happens she's overscheduled herself. I know during the week, it's like a 7:30 meeting. Granted, that's perhaps an unfortunate time, but there's methods. It's all stuff that needs to be discussed. So even you're a month between meetings when you miss. Here we're 2 months between meetings. So if you have a bigger club, so for those that can't make it, there's more options. I know the first thing I thought about about being reluctant to join is okay, is it worth my money to be coming maybe 6 times a year? Whereas if I can come, and I'm talking if I have to miss a meeting.
Could we take a minute and discuss that a little bit?
Yeah,
Is
we
that
can
an
this time.
option
If we have.
for the members to
Sure.
meet more often than once a month?
Well, I'd like to provide some history behind why we meet as a month.
Okay.
This club originally started out as a specialty club, and as you know, specialty clubs normally meet once a month. When we first started out, we had a lot of our district leadership was part of the club, and we had very vital and very active meetings at that time. Hansel Hall was one of the original charter members, myself, Keith Hardy, other names within the district were part of it. And, like Crest of the Hill and Saturday Morning Live and the other clubs, they were only designed to be a specialty club, to be a special need. Parliamentary procedure itself is a special need, okay? Over the history of our club, we expanded the membership to be open to people who are new. Okay. One thing we have to be careful though is if the other side of it is how much parliamentary procedure are people willing to do in a month, okay? And what I see, I've seen at Northwest Wind Toastmasters, which was a club I belonged to for almost 18 years. They actually went from having a meeting every week to every other week, and they increased their membership about that because people felt they could make that meeting. I believe in my heart that we offer a very specialized program. I believe that we need to start creating a stronger educational track, which Mike is trying to do, to encourage people to take the National Association of Parliamentarians test, and also to help with the leadership.
Yeah, that's a great point. Perhaps we can talk about this later on, but perhaps the name parliamentary procedure kind of puts itself in a niche where people aren't looking at that. Maybe we need to expand on that title somewhat to make it more attractive. That's something that could be discussed.